So once again, I'm in another new car. This is the 2024 Lexus NX 350h. It might be my absolute favorite small mid-size SUV that I have ever driven. It drives great. It sounds great because it's nice and quiet. It has fantastic audio clarity with this Mark Levinson audio system. Everything is laid out exactly like I really do like it, and all the things I typically are nitpicky about, they answered. Now, I've done the NX once before when it first came out with the new interface and everything, and I thoroughly loved it then. And here we are with the 2024 version, and there is no doubt that if I have anybody that's looking for this size of vehicle, this is my go-to now. So, without further ado, the 2024 Lexus NX 350h. So today we're starting right into this guy, going up from the outside in. So I'm skipping forward a little bit, but to be honest, this is also one of my favorite looking Lexus vehicles in the traditional vehicle. They have some great sporty models, I'll give it that, but the 350h just looks really, really good. Now this is in a red line color is what they call this, and so it really pops really well with this specific color. I do like it. I remember seeing this at the auto show, at the Chicago Auto Show when it came out, and I was impressed with it then. I'm still impressed by it. I don't know what else I can say other than it looks great. It does. Good lines. It looks like a Lexus. It's got the absolute stark Lexus grille on it. It's a good looking vehicle. Okay, now let's start in the inside. First of all, the seats. Super comfortable. Now you can see in here we actually have this kind of tan, really kind of actually bright, almost has an orangey tinge to it. It's a really beautiful fabric in my opinion, especially when you start it with the black. It just stands out really, really well. So let's jump in. We're just going to go through the controls real quick so you know, you have your presets for your seats. We have our standard controls here. Fuel gauge, open the rear hatch, standard stuff. Driver information cluster is very well laid out, very easy to read, along with your steering wheel controls, the standard Lexus steering wheel controls. The nice thing is you do have a heads-up display, if I can get this to not shutter. And the nice thing is if you just touch this, don't actually push, then you can actually bring up some advanced items here. So we can bring up some controls. You can see how I can move it around, and that's on the left side here as well as the right side here. So and that's on both this side and that side, and then obviously to select it, then you just push down. I really like how they laid this out. I've liked it ever since Lexus brought this system out. It's very solid, and with the heads-up display, it just makes it more enjoyable to use without having to look over to the big screen regularly. Now, the big thing on the Lexus vehicles that have the modern interior is you have this really nice infotainment / control display. And this is the one thing that Lexus does that I really wish they would do with their Toyota lineup. And that is, I bring in infotainment, and hopefully I can get that to stop doing that. Let's see, sorry. As well as control for climate. Even though it's actually part of the touchscreen, it's actually a dial, same with the volume. It's a really nice blend of, I'm doing more than just radio functions and map functions because I have all my climate stuff on the touchscreen as well, so I'm having less physical buttons, but really easy to use, really easy to control, and you still have the dials to control the stuff that you're going to regularly actually touch. That's what I like seeing. I like integration of smart features into a smart infotainment cluster. It is fantastic. This is a perfect blend in my opinion of a touch panel with buttons and physical connections. Still have our 360 camera, so we can bring up that at any time and go through that. So we do have, you know, the buttons, and they're actually really well placed. So you can see we don't have a whole lot of room because we have our air vents coming in here, but where they could, they put these control pieces in the right spot. Same thing with the drive selectors. So eco, normal, push, sport to the right, so I can put it in eco, sport, or normal really quick, and it's not taking up a whole bunch more room. It's really well placed. Qi charger, a little shelf here. This is kind of useless, but USB-C and USB connection, Qi charger, but you can also slide your phone out of the way and get down here. We actually have 12-volt connection down in the cubby down there, so we have plenty of space for things up here, including 2 cup holders, and bring that back out. But that does Qi charge. It does work with my Apple iPhone, so great to go know there. Standard trash control EV mode. This is a hybrid, so it does have the capability of driving in just EV under low power, and then of course the engine kicks on. 250 horse total combined horsepower, I think, with this EV 2.5 liter engine as well. And then we do have an armrest, nice size cubby down in here, glove box with a fairly sizable glove box. So everything you would come to know and want in a vehicle is pretty much on this guy. The infotainment screen, it does have wireless CarPlay, which they've been doing now for several years, so it's great to see that. In the settings, we have a lot of settings in here that we can get to. We can go in and change the lighting. We can go in and change a lot of really neat features on this screen. The really cool thing is the ambient lighting. You can change the color of the lighting and everything in the vehicle. So if you go in here and you change you customize the vehicle itself, illumination, we can, right now it's flame red, but you can change this to whatever you want, and yeah, customize it completely. You can change it by zone, front, basically how bright each zone is. There's just a lot of capability on here. Of course, all the standard controls that you would get in a Lexus, or in that, for that matter, a Toyota vehicle, are going to be very, very similar. And of course, the wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto as well, I will say that. And the nice thing is you can do a full screen mode with the CarPlay and hit that, and it's going to knock that menu bar out. Now you have to use the Lexus button to get back in, or you can bring it back over. So I do like that. Being able to go full screen is pretty cool, but you can always get to their maps, and their maps are, to be honest, are really nice because you can do 3D versus 2D, right? There's just a lot of control on the maps, and it's pretty solid. So nothing against that at all. Controls for overhead. We actually have controls for the sunroof. There is a sunglass holder up here as well, which is kind of nice to see. You don't see that in a lot of vehicles. But it is handy as well. One thing you will see in a lot of vehicles is the smart mirror that has the home link built into it, but also screen, so you can actually see the backup cameras. Really handy, especially if you have something that's clogging up the back window. But that's you can even keep that going while you're driving. You don't have to worry about using the big screen for that. And then it's just a standard sunroof. It's not, the one thing I wish that maybe this had an option was a panoramic roof, but this one does not. But there is the sunroof. Now, like I said before, I am in love with this audio system. Mark Levinson makes some fantastic audio systems. All the Lexus vehicles that I've ever tested that have the Mark Levinson audio system in them sound fantastic. They blow everything else from JBL, Bose, everything out of the water that I've tested. I think they are awesome. In my opinion, they're definitely worth the money, specifically for the people that don't want to have to tear apart their car and actually get a custom system put into there. These sound so much better than stock speakers or even premium speakers from lesser brands. They're awesome. That's all I can say. They're literally awesome. So, but yeah, that's the front seat. That goes through pretty much everything we see here. Let's look at the back seat quick. Okay. Now, I will say this before we jump in. All 4 of the handles on this will unlock the car or lock the car. Of course, it's not going to let me because it's running. But so that you can go to any of the 4 doors and it works just as good. So let's jump in here though. Now I have the front seat at a comfortable position for me, 5'11". This has plenty of legroom in it. We have a nice vent space here, seat heaters back in the back. Oh, I will say this as well. Front seats are heated and cooled, or I should say ventilated. We do have some ports down here. get that up for you. USB-C, as you can see. They do have a nice illumination over them. Hard to see probably in the sun. And then a 12 volt there. We do have standard controls on the side, and I pull this down. Cup holders there, always important. And the last thing is headspace. If you can see, way more than enough headroom for, doesn't matter really how tall you are. Last thing is this little guy here. This is going to be all four front and back seats. To open the door, there's just this thumb push. I really like the design, really easy to use, pretty solid. All right, let's see if we have the kick to open. So I didn't even have to touch that guy, although there is the button up there to do it. And in terms of cargo space, pretty solid. Okay, let's look in the pop the hood and check out the engine compartment. See what this hybrid engine looks like. And does have gas shocks. And there we are. Your 2.5 liter hybrid Lexus engine. Now here's the whole thing. Like I said before at the beginning of this video, this might be one of my favorite, if not my favorite, small, medium-sized SUV. I have thoroughly enjoyed driving this over the last week. Like I said, it's laid out exactly how I think it should be laid out. It has so many great things. I actually started this week thoroughly enjoying it, and then midweek, I really had to sit down and start thinking, okay, what don't I like about this car? And it's hard to come up with something. Now, there's not many vehicles that I can't find at least several things that I could go back and say, yeah, I really wish it had this, or I really wish it did that. Of course, like any modern vehicle, you have a really nice large screen on it. I wish it did more. I really do. It doesn't need to do more. It doesn't. I mean, it has a lot of capability in here. They put, in my opinion, a tasteful amount of controls into the touch panel so that the things that I'm going to use regularly are still pretty much physical knobs, something that I can easily grab onto and not have to think twice about, and I don't have to constantly read the touch panel of what it is. You're really not going to change so much of the climate stuff. Like, for instance, seat heater and ventilation controls. That belongs on the touch panel to me. It's not something that goes away. It's always up. Now, you can hide things, but it's easy to get to it. And so that I'm completely okay with. It takes less clutter up and gives me more space for other things on this. It gives me more controls without taking up a space with a button. So they did a lot of great things with this car. They really did. And they thought through and through, and they did a fantastic job of bringing in as much new technology into a car that, well, if you rewind several, 5 years, would have had a touch controller on it. It's bringing a lot of capability into a car, but still keeping the Lexus vibe, the Lexus what you expect. I expect a smooth driving, quiet experience in a Lexus. If I'm gonna jump in a Lexus, I know I'm gonna get that premium experience. I'm still getting it in this. If I was to say, out of all the brands out there that are the luxury type brands, Lexus is definitely one of my favorites because it's really smooth. It sounds really good.
The network is currently busy. Please try again later.
It does have a voice assistant as well, and I forgot to mention that before. You can actually say things to this car in using the Lexus voice assistant, and you can turn that microphone off, by the way. But that way you can just say, hey, take me this. Hey, what's the temperature outside? Hey, whatever. But of course, if it doesn't have a network connection, it's not going to work. And but yeah, I will say that. But all in all, it's a Lexus with a lot of modern amenities in it, and it's a comfortable car. It's a perfect small SUV, hybrid SUV. Altogether, the hybrid engine on this specific model, I think, gets 39 average mpg. That's between the in city and highway. So what have I been getting with it? Probably 34 in town. And so on the highway, a little bit better, but I haven't been doing as many highway miles as I have done in-town miles on this car. So I would argue that it's probably getting exactly where it's rated at. So hybrids, get better fuel economy. This specific one gets a combined, I think, 39. They claim, I think, 41 city, 37 highway, which is traditional for these type of hybrids. You actually get better in town. Yeah, it's solid for its performance. Now, if you're going to be more of a lead foot, like I have been putting it to the test, you're not going to get 39. You're definitely going to get lower than that, but it's still great fuel economy for what it is. And this vehicle is not without power. It still has got plenty of power to make you happy. So, but then on top of that, fantastic sound system. So then it gets you pepped up for wanting to put your foot down a little more. Now the neat thing is when you're jamming through the different drive modes, it kind of brings it up on the screen, as well as the colors change on the driver information cluster. I'm going to put it in sport because we're going to jump on the highway here, and I haven't done a 0 to 60 with it or anything. I'm not expecting anything super because it is a hybrid. We'll see. For the fuel economy, it gets plenty of power. I'm not going to tell you it's going to win races at all, but it is quiet, smooth. It's got a CVT transmission, so it's continuous, so you're not getting that, you know, jumping to shift up or anything like that. But yeah, that's the car. So thank you all for watching to the end of this video. I really appreciate it. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and check out Lexus's website. I'm going to put a link to this vehicle specifically directly onto the Lexus website, so check it out. I honestly, if you're literally in the market for this size of SUV, whether it doesn't matter what vehicle you're looking at, I highly strive for you to check out, go to your local Lexus dealer, look at the 350h, from the NX 350h. Now, they do have a 250 and a 450 series as well, so depending on how much power and everything you want, this comes in right in the middle. Now, this specific one is the luxury model. It's got a lot of bells and whistles on it, a lot of little things they added, like illumination door panels, a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this car. This one's stickers at like 57. You can get in, I think, a Lexus 250, the NX 250 for like, I want to say like 42. And then I think the 350h starts like 46, 48, somewhere in there. It is, without a doubt, one of my favorite vehicles, if not my favorite small form factor SUV. I really do like the NX series all the way, and the 350h is right down the middle of the line. Really good efficiency, really well tuned for driving, very quiet, good infotainment, I should say good electronic options on it. I really do like it. Now, like I said, I'm in the luxury trim. I've got the big screen. I've got all these things. You can get things that have a little bit toned down. You know, if you check out your Lexus dealer, you might find exactly what you're looking for, is probably the better way to say it. So, thanks for watching to the end. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll catch you back here on techgooch for another future video review. We'll see you again soon. Yay.